After watching Conor McGregor tear his ACL 3 seconds into his return fight at UFC 329, I realized something. I miss Prime Conor. When people say Prime Conor, they're not talking about just a person or a fighter. They're talking about an era. The guy who was oozing in self-confidence and self-belief. The guy who was disciplined and practiced what he preached. The guy who would tell you how he would beat you and then go out and do it and make it look even easier. They're talking about the guy who made them fall in love with the UFC and mixed martial arts. Obviously, every single athlete will have his prime years where they're at the peak of their powers before ultimately declining in performance. It happens in every sport with guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Shaquille O'Neal, Clayton Kershaw, Neymar Jr. It's a normal thing, so why be sad about it? Well, what if I told you every single athlete that I just named ran out of their prime organically through either injuries or old age? But Conor McGregor, his career will be ruined by too much success. Before Conor McGregor became a global superstar and achieved any bit of success, he was just like everybody else. He had a normal job working in society as a plumber in Ireland, and he absolutely hated it. So what did he do? He quit to pursue his dreams. You see, Conor McGregor had this relentless self-belief in himself that was so powerful. He was oozing self-confidence in his abilities and what his future would hold. There's so many good clips and quotes of young Conor speaking things into existence well before his fame and success actually came. His ability to manifest things into existence was because of his self-belief in himself. He had nothing to lose and everything to gain as a broke Irishman. It was like he was one of us, just hoping one day he would actually make it to the top. He was confident in his work and was just waiting on the moment that his life would change for the better. This is what we call hungry Conor. At this point in his young UFC career, Conor was so painfully obsessed with his craft. He was so desperate to reach the pinnacle of the game. He would train hours on end every day, knowing that this was the only way he would provide for his family. There was no Forge Irish Stout. There was no proper 12. There was no celebrity status with Conor McGregor. All he had was his craft as a mixed martial artist, and he knew that. So, what did he do? Focus religiously on bettering his craft day in and day out. He didn't drink heavily. He didn't do drugs. All he did was train and move down the path that could help him become more successful in the field of MMA. And with this unbreakable mindset, Conor McGregor would go on a 6-fight win streak in the UFC before he would get his first chance at a championship fight. At this point, Conor was starting to become a household name in the company with his brash and bold personality. Many were tuning in to see if this Irishman was for real or if he was just another fraud with a loud mouth. Before Conor's first title opportunity against Jose Aldo, they would go on a crazy world tour of press coverage, including multiple press conferences. Conor's opponent hadn't lost in a decade at this point, and it seemed very unlikely that Conor would be able to come out victorious in this matchup. But his self-belief and confidence was on full display throughout the build-up to this fight. He talked about how he would break the impenetrable Jose Aldo and he will end this fight in the first round. Nobody believed Conor could actually do it, with nearly every fighter on the roster doubting Conor in this matchup. Yet Conor would talk the talk and walk the walk, as in 13 seconds he would do the unthinkable. Conor McGregor would go from a star to a global superstar with one punch. 1 year later, Conor McGregor would do what no other fighter has done in the UFC up until that point, and that is to become a simultaneous champion in 2 different weight classes, otherwise known as a double champ. While currently being the featherweight champion, Conor McGregor would move up to the lightweight division to take on Eddie Alvarez, the current lightweight champion. In classic Conor McGregor fashion, he would boast about how confident he was, and he would absolutely dominate, showcasing a flawless performance that still gets talked about to this day as one of the best showcases in the octagon ever. And with that, another achievement for the notorious Conor McGregor. And although he would achieve something spectacular that night, UFC fans would lose something. That night would be the last time we ever saw Prime Conor. Once Conor achieved his dream of becoming a 2-weight class world champion, something he set as a goal before even fighting in the UFC, he embarked on a new task. August 26th, 2017. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather would take place. And this is where many claim the end of the road for Prime Conor took place. After being at the pure pinnacle of the MMA sport, coming off 2 championship wins in the featherweight and lightweight divisions, Conor would simply put his UFC career on hold for a massive payday with Floyd Mayweather. Although it was very interesting at the time to see if Conor could actually keep up with one of the best boxers of our time, it was no secret he was also getting paid fairly well for this boxing match. Conor reportedly earned $130 million from this boxing match, his one and only boxing match, far exceeding any payday from the UFC. Was Conor getting paid from the UFC? Obviously. But was he getting paid $130 million for one fight? No, he was not. Obviously, he was the biggest star in the UFC, holding many of the largest UFC gates, and I'm sure brand deals were also pretty nice for him as well, but none of that compared to even a fraction of what he got paid on this night. And he knew it. He knew he was set for life after this, regardless of what the outcome of the fight would be. 1 year later, Conor McGregor would launch Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. This would be very important because this was the first business venture for Conor, as he was noticeably promoting it during the biggest fight of his life against Khabib. Not only was he promoting it, but he was using it. And I mean using it. Conor was drinking whiskey during the press conference of UFC 229, seeming to be drunk and having a good time. This was far from the Conor McGregor we would see during his press conferences for Jose Aldo. Instead of a focused, cold-blooded killer knowing he had to prove something, it was seeming as if Conor was just a billboard for his new product. 1-4. That was Conor McGregor's UFC record after the Floyd boxing match. Every loss would end in a finish for Conor, with 2 of those losses coming in with horrible injuries for Conor. His UFC career completely took a 180 turn after August 26, 2017. He went from being the cocky and confident hunter to a deer in headlights. After a massive payday, it seemed as if Conor lost his drive and the underdog mentality that he possessed. As he began to reap the fruits of his labor, going out partying and living on yachts, drinking every single day, while before the fame, it was a complete 180. He was quite literally hungry during his come up, willing to do quite frankly anything to make sure he made it to the top, becoming obsessed with his craft. And when he did make it to the top, he abandoned all of his values and principles that got him there in the first place. Do I really blame him for taking that boxing match offer to help secure his family for generations on end? No, I don't. But does it suck to see that everyone unanimously agrees that that event essentially ruined his MMA and UFC career? Yeah, it kind of does. There was a very iconic line that Conor McGregor said when he was on the come up. And of course, it happened in the gym because that is where he lived at the time. I've lost my mind on this game like Vincent van Gogh. He dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process. That has happened to me. But fuck it. When that gold belt is around my waist, my mother has a big mansion. My girlfriend has a different car for every day of the week. And my kids have everything they've ever wanted. Then it will pay. Then I'm happy I lost my mind. I will die a crazy old man. It's simply poetic because what Conor said in that clip completely foreshadowed his career and his life. Almost everyone in the present day believes he's lost his mind and he's a crazy lunatic. Would he sacrifice that for the success and financial freedom for his kids, his wife, and future kids? Mystic Mac strikes again. While taking the UFC by storm, he also had an iconic personality. Now, he just has an iconic personality. I can't speak for everybody out there, but for me, Prime Conor represented that anything is possible. If you work hard enough, believe in yourself, and cut out all distractions to focus on your one and only goal, you can achieve that mission. Prime Conor is the true epitome of hard work beating talent. If you're obsessed with something, no matter what, you can achieve it. There will never be another Prime Conor McGregor.